Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. It's a Trip. 1923's Spencer actor reacts to Dutton family's Yellowstone ending as he reflects the impact on his character. 1923 star Brandon Sklenar, who portrays Spencer Dutton, addresses the conclusion of Yellowstone and how it connects to his character's storyline. Yellowstone, created by Taylor Sheridan, follows the Dutton family's control over the largest ranch in Montana, facing legal battles, rival factions, and internal conflicts. Multiple Yellowstone spin-offs have been born from the flagship series, including 1883 and 1923, with more in development. Speaking with RadioTimes.com, Sklenar described how it felt to witness the outcome of the Dutton family's future. He acknowledged being aware of Yellowstone's finale beforehand, but had kept his focus on Spencer's journey in 1923. The actor discussed how seeing the Dutton house in 1923 compared to its later state in Yellowstone was a striking experience. He also noted the tonal contrast between the two series and emphasized that 1923 has its own distinct mood, separate from the main series. Check out his comments below. He also spoke about filming in the Dutton house, describing it as a weird feeling since it's the same house where Kevin Costner would play John Dutton. Sklenar's reaction reinforces the narrative connection between 1923 and Yellowstone, demonstrating the long-term trajectory of the Dutton family across generations. 1923, set during Prohibition and the Great Depression, expands on the struggles faced by the Duttons as they fight to maintain their land. Spencer is far from Montana for much of Season 1, but his eventual return to the ranch links his character's journey to the events that follow in Yellowstone. Moreover, Taylor Sheridan has constructed a multi-series timeline that depicts the rise and fall of the Duttons, with 1883 serving as the foundation, 1923 exploring economic and political challenges, and Yellowstone presenting the family's last stand. 1923's depiction of the Dutton homestead reveals how the ranch evolved, showing the earlier struggles that contributed to its later downfall. Production-wise, the series utilizes a combination of historical accuracy and fictional storytelling, filmed across multiple real-world locations, including Montana and Africa for Spencer's arc. With 1923 confirmed to conclude after Season 2, its final episodes will further define the Duttons' place in Yellowstone. The contrast between the two shows in terms of tone, setting, and character arcs emphasizes how each show operates within its own historical and thematic framework. Sheridan's expansion of the Yellowstone universe through spin-offs suggests that the Dutton story will continue beyond 1923, but its specific direction remains tied to what has already been established in the timeline. Sklenar's reaction to Yellowstone's ending highlights the challenge of portraying a character whose fate is indirectly shaped by events in a future series. 1923 exists in a different era from Yellowstone, yet its characters ultimately contribute to the downfall depicted in the main show. His comments also point toward how the prequel maintains its own identity while serving as a historical counterpart to the main series. As 1923 approaches its conclusion in Season 2, its connection to Yellowstone remains evident, but the series stands on its own as an exploration of the Dutton family's earlier struggles. The Yellowstone universe has captured audiences with its gripping tales of loyalty, land, and legacy, culminating in an ending that left fans breathless. Brandon Sklenar, who plays Spencer Dutton in 1923, recently reflected on how the saga's conclusion affects his character and the greater narrative of the Dutton family. As the dust settles on Yellowstone's climactic finale, Sklenar shared his thoughts on how Spencer's journey intertwines with the fate of his descendants, calling the experience a trip in every sense of the word. The end of Yellowstone, a long time coming. The ending of Yellowstone was always destined to be monumental. Taylor Sheridan, the mastermind behind the franchise, crafted a world where the stakes were as high as the Montana sky. The Dutton family struggle to protect their land reached its boiling point, leaving viewers in awe of the twists and sacrifices required to preserve the Yellowstone legacy. For Sklinner, watching the final episodes was an emotional experience, particularly because of the way they ripple through his character's past in 1923. Knowing where the family ends up, it gives Spencer's journey even more weight, Sklinner shared. Every choice he makes in 1923 feels like it echoes down the line, and that's surreal to think about. Spencer's legacy, the man who could have changed it all? Spencer Dutton is a character defined by his exile, trauma, and relentless survival instinct. A veteran of World War I, his escape to Africa becomes both a refuge and a prison, preventing him from taking part in the battle over the Yellowstone Ranch until much later. His journey back home, fraught with danger and heartbreak, became one of 1923's most gripping narratives. But now, with Yellowstone's ending in full view, one has to wonder, could Spencer have changed the course of history for the Duttons? Sklinner weighed in on this theory. "It's impossible not to think about what if," he said. If Spencer had made it back sooner, if he had been there to help Jacob, Harrison Ford, and Kara, Helen Mirren, would things have ended differently? I think about that a lot, especially seeing where the Duttons end up. Indeed, Spencer's absence was felt in 1923. His return could have altered the ranch's trajectory in ways both profound and unpredictable. The weight of responsibility, or lack thereof, sits heavily on his character's arc, and now with Yellowstone's finale, that question takes on even greater significance. The surreal nature of time in storytelling. One of the most fascinating elements of 1923 and Yellowstone is how time weaves the Dutton legacy together. 1923 is a prequel, yet it was filmed and released while Yellowstone's present-day storyline was concluding. For Sklinner, this time loop effect was dizzying. It's strange to inhabit a character whose actions affect something that technically already happened, he mused. It's like playing out a history that's simultaneously unfolding for the audience. I've had people ask me, "How do you feel about how it all ends?" And I'm like, man, I'm still living the beginning. This storytelling technique has been a hallmark of Sheridan's work. By structuring the Yellowstone universe as a sprawling, multi-generational epic, he has created a deep, interwoven family history that feels real, tangible, and full of rich complexities. Sklinner acknowledged that portraying Spencer means understanding both past and future simultaneously, which has been an exhilarating challenge. The Dutton curse, fate, or choice. The fate of the Dutton family in Yellowstone was anything but peaceful. The ranch, which had been fiercely defended across generations, continued to exact a heavy toll on those who sought to protect it. Tragedy has always shadowed the Duttons, from James Dutton's 1883 sacrifices to the relentless battles Jacob Dutton faced in 1923, and finally to John Dutton IE's Yellowstone, desperate attempts to hold on to the land. So is this fate, or simply the weight of the choices each Dutton made? Sklinner believes it's a mix of both. There's definitely a sense of destiny with the Duttons, he said. But I also think it's about choice. Every Dutton who took on the responsibility of the ranch made decisions that led to heartbreak and hardship. Spencer, in particular, had a chance to walk away. He had a life in Africa, he had love, and yet he chose to come back. That decision alone changes everything. This interpretation casts a new light on the Yellowstone finale. If every Dutton makes a choice that binds them to the land, then the eventual downfall, or endurance, of the family legacy is not merely fate but a consequence of those choices. Spencer's future in the franchise. With Yellowstone ending, fans have been left wondering what's next for the franchise. Taylor Sheridan has teased further expansions, with new spin-offs and potential continuations of stories from 1883, 1923, and beyond.